I made an error, you guys. I accidentally added a line that involves Dr. Gilbert raising an eyebrow, but I don't have the ability to raise an eyebrow. So I'm gonna have to get you guys to, like, suspension of disbelief or whatever when I do this at some point during the story. Or I could do this. That's the closest, but I have to squint one eye. I'm really bad at raising eyebrows. I've tried so hard to teach myself how, and it's just not working. Okay, anyway. Hello, everyone. That's not my line. Hello, everybody. There we go. That's it. I got it. How long have I been doing this for? I forgot what my opening line was. I'm tired. I'm very tired, you guys. I stayed up until like 1 a.m. this morning and then woke up at 8 something because my dog started crying and wanted to get up. So I then had to get up. So yeah. And now I am recording this very early in the morning and I couldn't be bothered to do anything to my hair or put on actual clothes. So you get my jammy jersey and my sleep ponytail. So bear with me and bear with the eyebrow thing. It's gonna look dumb. Prepare yourselves. Anyway, here we go. This is chapter... I never check what chapter we're up to before I start filming. I'm gonna guess we're up to like 14, maybe 14. We're up to chapter 14, you guys. Hey, yeah. I've got to get into character. A lot of this is dialogue. Our conversation? Stammered Vanessa. Wait, I thought that Miss Mia was... Oh no. Oh, said the doctor sympathetically. Yes, I'm afraid. Please. I can't, whispered Vanessa, her eyes welling up. Can you remember what I told you this morning? He asked, standing and starting towards the small girl. She shrank back. He reached her in moments and crouched before her. You said you couldn't visit the doctor, but you were brave in the end, and now it's all over and done with. So, yes, you can, little one. You can, and you shall. His expression and tone were resolute. He stood and extended a massive hand to Vanessa, who stared woodenly up at him. Come, little miss. It's time to be brave. Vanessa forced herself to obey. Her limbs felt as if they were welded in place. It felt near impossible to raise her hand towards the doctor's large palm, but she was somehow able to urge her muscles into action. Dr. Gilbert gently guided her back to his previous seat and was seated. His lap looked prohibitively far from the ground. She felt there was no way she would be able to survive a spanking from this man. Surely he would snap her in half. Vanessa wasn't concerned about his temper. He had seemed positively dangerous earlier when attempting to coax them from the tree, but Vanessa had never felt in danger of Dr. Gilbert. She had felt in danger of falling from such a foolish and precarious hiding place, and she'd felt in danger of a sincere spanking once she got down from said foolish and precarious hiding place. But not of the doctor. What the doctor might do, however, was an entirely different story. What the doctor did was wholly unexpected. He leaned down and lifted Vanessa into the air, settling her right side up in his lap. The relief was swift, such so that Vanessa gave an audible sigh. Where were we? He asked. We were talking, said Vanessa. Ah, yes. So we were, he said, in a conversational tone, reclining slightly. Now what were we talking about, little miss? Vanessa hung her head. What I did today, she said, feeling very small and ashamed. Ah, and what was that? Asked Dr. Gilbert, gently. I... said Vanessa, struggling but making a strong attempt to look him in the eye. I ran away from my appointment. Yes, you did, he said, giving a short nod. That was a very naughty thing to do. Yes, sir, mumbled Vanessa. Do you know what happens when you're a naughty girl? Vanessa cringed, disliking the phrasing immensely. Yes, said Vanessa, unwilling to expand on her answer and speak such cloying words. Vanessa, prompted Dr. Gilbert. I do not like to repeat myself. I get spanked by Miss Mia, she said, pointedly, without a hint of her usual polite tone. Dr. Gilbert was mildly surprised by this show of insolence. This little one had never shown such behavior with him before. Until now, Vanessa had been frozen with fear around him. It made sense. Little ones often elected to tempt fate at this 11th hour. It was usually something about the inevitability of what was about to befall them, or an attempt to provoke a strong response to quell the little one's guilt. In any event, Vanessa's fate was inevitable, and she'd certainly earned herself a very strong lesson on the dangers of scaling trees. Usually, yes, but since you disobeyed me today, I will be the one seeing to your discipline. With that reasonable explanation, all of the fight went out of the small girl. She deflated and returned quickly to her usual disposition, gentle, cautious, and mildly alarmed. Oh, said Vanessa, her brows knitting together. That makes sense. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask me before we begin? Vanessa had several. What would it be like? How hard did he spank? Would he cuddle her afterwards? Comfort her? Rub her back and lavish gentle, sweet praise on her for being a good girl who took her spanking well? Vanessa swallowed hard. Lost in thought, she gave no response. Would it help to know what to expect? He asked, inclining his head and peering at her over the top of his glasses. I stood on my glasses the other day, so I don't have glasses unless I go. Will it help to know? No, see that? Sorry. She nodded. She desperately wanted to know. All right, he said. I shall put you over my knee and remove your diaper. Vanessa groaned and buried her face in her hands, the imagery too humiliating to dwell on. I will place my hand on your back, and I will spank you. While I'm spanking you, I would like you to think about what happened today. A cold shiver went down Vanessa's spine. I expect little ones to squirm a little while they're over my knee, but if you get too restless and try to kick your way off, I will hold your hands behind your back. Vanessa didn't relish this thought. She was determined to never experience the helplessness that would go along with such an action. I'd also like you to know that I do not tolerate insolence. While you are over my knee, we will both address each other with respect. Do you understand? Yes, whimpered Vanessa, her face still hidden behind her palms. This snapshot of what to expect had done little to quell her fears. And when your spanking is over, I shall hold you close until you're calm and bring you to your caregiver. Vanessa was slightly cheered at the prospect of the comfort set to follow the spanking. But the fear was still stronger. However strong the fear, the little girl was resolute. Vanessa took a deep breath and looked bravely upward. I'm ready. That's a brave girl, Dr. Gilbert had said, moments before placing his hands neath Vanessa's arms and upending her across his broad lap. He made short work of the diaper she wore. She was bare-bottomed over his knee within 10 seconds. As promised, a large hand was placed on her back, the fingers of which curling around her waist, holding her firmly in place. Dr. Gilbert gave her bottom a series of gentle pats that made Vanessa moan and tuck her head into arms folded above her head. Let's begin, said the doctor, and raised his hand. He brought it down with an almighty crash onto Vanessa's backside. She bit her lip and bore 10 exceedingly powerful swats before she broke and gave a loud sob, kicking her legs as she did so. This was too much. This was way worse than a spanking from Miss Mia. She wouldn't be able to handle a minute at this rate. Now that I have your attention, little miss, I would like you to think about the naughty thing that you did today. Dr. Gilbert slowed his pace and intensity, and Vanessa relaxed despite curling toes, deeply grateful for the respite. She shakily nodded her head. I gave you a direction, little one, chided Dr. Gilbert, his descending hand quickening for a moment before Vanessa spluttered, Yes, sir. Good girl. Vanessa grit her teeth and wiggled her toes. Her fists curled into tight balls. It was difficult to summon the brain power to think about the events leading up to her spanking. Her mind was consumed with the red-hot waves burning across her backside. She had been very dangerous. She'd put her friends in danger. She'd almost fallen from a tree. She'd disobeyed the doctor and Mickey. She'd made Miss Emily worry. And she had disobeyed Miss Mia's biggest rule. As she contemplated this last, crushing fact, tears began to stream down Vanessa's cheeks. Dr. Gilbert's hand paddled her strongly and ceaselessly. Vanessa's sobs turned to howls as he warmed her bottom from a pale pink to a shiny rose. All right, little miss. You've had a while to think, said the doctor, still spanking firmly. I'd like you to tell me why you're being spanked. 'Cause I ran away. I would like you to tell me the whole story. I've already said it. I ran away and made everyone sad. Please stop spanking me. Vanessa gave a hard kick, overcome with shame. Miss Vanessa, said the doctor in a low tone, do you remember what I said about insolence? Yes, sir, sobbed Vanessa. We talk with respect to each other. I'm sorry. Good girl. If you would like to reconsider your answer, now is the time. I was scared of having an enema. Mamina! Ah! An enema, supplied the doctor, helpfully. Enema, agreed the little girl, who was trying her hardest not to leap off the doctor's lap. So I went and I climbed a tree and Piper and Aiden came too, which was very dangerous. Would you agree? Yes, sir, Vanessa sobbed. Being dangerous. Too little to climb trees. Very true, he nodded, spanking methodically. Keep going, please. You're doing very well. Then you came and told us to get down and we didn't. Yes. That was certainly very naughty. Can't disobey, stammered Vanessa in a very quiet voice. That's right. You can't disobey, said the doctor, rubbing calming circles onto her back that very nearly took her mind away from the fire on her backside. And I fell out of the tree. Yes, you did. Which is exactly why it was so dangerous for you to climb so high. Dr. Gilbert had slowed his spanks down just a touch. Vanessa gave a shudder, still openly weeping as her spanking continued. Dangerous, agreed Vanessa. Sorry, she cried. Big sorry. I know, little one. I caught you, but I shudder to think of what might have happened if I hadn't, he said, his firm voice echoing in her ears. An unhappy little noise escaped from Vanessa's mouth. She knew. She had been very lucky. At the end of the day, as painful and humbling as this was, she would prefer a scorched bottom to broken bones. So far, we have 3 naughty things that have earned you a spanking. Do you remember what they were? Dr. Gilbert asked, his hand still descending slowly but meaningfully. I ran away. I did a danger, said Vanessa, struggling to form coherent thoughts in her guilt-addled brain. I disobeyed you. The doctor's spanks were very light now, but still felt sharp to the little girl's tender backside. And there was one more thing, honey. Can you think of what that might be? Vanessa was genuinely stumped. Her heart pounded along with her throbbing bottom as she frantically searched her memory for anything that could be considered worthy of a spanking. "Would you like some help, little miss?" he asked, interrupting her train of thought.
"Yes, please. I can't think right."
"You decided that your tummy pain wasn't serious enough to visit a doctor," said the doctor, still swatting firmly enough to cause small leg kicks on the part of Vanessa. "You have to learn that while you're here with us, it is not your place to make decisions." Vanessa gave a muffled wail. Though the concept of a life lived decision-free was tempting, Vanessa found it difficult to accept this concept in reality. You are to use your words if your tummy hurts. You are to use your words if you are frightened. Otherwise, we won't be able to help you. You are here to be looked after. Sometimes being looked after is scary, and so is asking for help. But I would prefer you to try to be brave and talk to us instead of hiding up a tree. Dr. Gilbert finished this sentence with 4 increasingly firm smacks to Vanessa's thoroughly scorched bottom, causing her to arch her back and cry out, "Okay, little miss, what do you say when you've been naughty?"
I'm sorry, Dr. Gilbert. Sorry. Big sorry."
The doctor let Vanessa calm down for a moment. He rubbed circles on her back and punished bottom as her little sobs became softer and softer. Vanessa had relaxed and given in to the internal voice urging her to submit. She lay unmoving over the big man's lap, lost in the sensations of a warm hand caressing her equally warm backside. By the time the doctor had set her upright, she had progressed completely into a quiet, docile little girl state. She craved comfort, a heaviness still weighing on her mind. She immediately burrowed into his embrace when she realized where she'd been shifted. The doctor enfolded her in his long arms and began to stroke her hair. She was grateful for this. His hand shrouded her tear-streaked face from view. "I am very proud of you, little miss," he said in a low tone. "You took your spanking very well." Vanessa's guilt had somewhat been alleviated, but she still carried a large amount for disobeying her caregiver, who she was rapidly becoming attached to.
"Thank you,"
mumbled Vanessa through her tears. She felt the doctor shift with concern. He manually maneuvered her backwards, one hand on each of her shoulders. He looked at her critically. "What's happening, little one?" he asked, concerned. "What's on your mind?"
"Nothing. Everything's fine,"
said Vanessa. She angrily wiped a tear away with the back of her hand in the universally recognized symbol for everything is not fine. Dr. Gilbert raised a brow. "I can turn you right back over my knee if you're going to tell me fibs, Miss Vanessa."
"Oh no, please no,"
she blurted out.
I broke Miss Mia's biggest rule. She told me I would be in big trouble if I tried to do something big dangerous ever again."
Vanessa's bottom lip began to tremble.
"And now she's not gonna want to look after me anymore. She's gonna be mad and she won't talk to me or hug me or kiss me on the forehead ever again."
Vanessa collapsed against Dr. Gilbert's chest and began to weep anew. "Little miss," said the doctor, who had immediately enclosed his arms around Vanessa as soon as she'd buried her face in his shirt. "That is not true. Why would you think your Miss Mia would stop caring for you?"
"Because,"
cried Vanessa,
"she said that if I ever did anything dangerous again, I'd be in big trouble and get a spanking."
"Ah, I see," said the doctor, rocking Vanessa gently. "But I've just given you a spanking, and I'm still looking after you."
"Oh, that's different,"
groaned Vanessa. "How is that different, little miss? You did something dangerous, and you bravely took your spanking. You've been forgiven, and I am comforting you. I am not angry with you, and I would be willing to bet that your Miss Mia isn't either.
She's gonna hate me,
moaned Vanessa. Vanessa, honey, came a voice from across the room. Miss Mia was perched on the low shelf that sat across from them, her arms loosely folded over her chest. Vanessa's heart leapt. How long had she been there? I don't think that I could ever hate you. That was chapter 14. I hope you had a nice time. Okay. Bye, everybody.